I have with me again a very nice and old friend of mine, but he's much senior to me, from IIM Bangalore. He was Director Placements at Indian School of Business, ISB Hyderabad. He was Director Admissions and Marketing Head for Indian IIM Bangalore. Right now he is with SP Jain Global in Mumbai. May I invite Mr. V.K. Menon. I would like him to address you about, he knows inside out about admissions to B schools in and around the world itself, not just in India. Mr. Menon, all yours for the next.
Thanks, Art. Now, after my IMB, I worked across in Philips and then with Escorts and then with US West. So I was handling multiple functions. From there, then I switched careers, went on to become a marketing prof at SBM IMB. Then I was with ISB for 11 years. So I I was overall in charge of admissions and placements and learning and development and so on. And then with IIM Bangalore, so I was looking at again the same portfolio, and now with SBM Global. Now, why I am giving you this background is because, you see, what all this journey has taught me is that an MBA or a business school is not one size fits all. You get it? There are so many great schools. You can look at a ranking and get all the 20 great schools. They are great schools, but are they appropriate schools for you? A completely different question. Are they great schools? Yes. If they are ranked in the top 20, they're damn good. But are they appropriate schools for you? Another question altogether. You get it? So, it really requires the insights into the school to really understand what the school has got to offer. So, what I'm going to do is to take SPN School of Global Management as a case study, take you through that process so that you understand how SPN School of Global Management works, but more importantly, you should also take away from this, how do you assess a B school? Is this B school for me? Not where the B school is good or bad. B schools are good. I mean, most of the B schools are very good, which you are citing. Obviously, you are citing the top schools. So, they are very good. But is the school for me? Alright? So, right up front, I will tell you three things. And if these three things work for you, then SPN School of Global Management becomes an excellent school for you. Otherwise, it's a good school. You get the difference. What are the three things? Would you like to study abroad? Like to. Now forget the constraints, okay? Forget the cost. We'll come to it later. Would you like to study abroad? Number one. Number two. Would you like to explore options abroad? That means you would like to get jobs in Singapore or in Hong Kong or in Dubai. Would you like to explore? Right now we are not coming to which jobs you want and which jobs you do not want and so on and so forth. Just would you like to explore? The third question is, would the B school, would you have a plan B by which if you do not get a job abroad, will the B school support you to get a good top placement in India? You get the issue. That's a big issue. See, let's say you spend a lot of money, you go to the US, you go to the top school, you study, you get a great degree and so on and so forth. What if you don't get a job in the US or you don't get a job in Europe? You come back to India. How would the business school be able to help you in that situation is the question. Alright, so three questions. Number one, would you want to study abroad globally? Number two, would you like to explore options abroad? And number three, a plan B wherein if you do not get a job abroad, will you be able to get a top-notch placement in India? This is SP Jain School of Global Management's value proposition. There are two SP Jains, by the way. Both are connected at the top. SP Jain IMR is another one. SP Jain School of Global Management is what we are talking about. Now, the programs. There are two programs. Both are MBA equivalent. One is for those who have less than 3 years of experience. How many of you have less than 3 years of work experience? The majority. So, this applies to the majority. And another one for those who have got more than 3 years of experience. How many more than 3 years of experience? Is there some? No. Okay. So we are looking we closely look at what we call as the MGB. There are two programs. Both are 1-year programs. It runs over 12 months and it is delivered across 3 campuses: Singapore, Dubai, Australia. 3 campuses. which means you do 4 months in Singapore, 4 months in Australia, and 4 months in Dubai. If you were to join the Singapore cohort, that's starting in January. This is how the layout is. Okay. Now, when I talked about how this whole thing works, what is the concept behind the whole value proposition? It's about exposing you to global education and getting you jobs in global locations and having a plan B for India. So there are 7 career offices. There's a career office in Singapore, Dubai, Australia, in Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. This is how it works. Okay. If you take the cohort, the MGB, which is 0 to 3 years of experience, after you do 12 months abroad, then a question comes up. Companies in these countries, suppose you want a job in Singapore, the company is not very comfortable offering you a job, correct? Because they have their own restrictions in terms of, visas and so on, job visas and so on. And they also want to know what is your profile. So what we have done is, after the 12 months, we will give you an internship in a global company, right? You get placed in an internship. That's a 4-month internship. At the end of 4 months of internship, you can decide whether you get a PPO, that's a pre-placement offer. So the company can give you a PPO. You can accept the PPO and take a job there, which means you have your placements done abroad. If not, you don't take the PPO from the company, you can search for another company in that market or other markets. Or third option, if you do not get a job or don't like the jobs you get abroad, you come back to India and you look at the entire Indian options available to you, which, as you know, is very, very wide and very easy in that sense. This is the value proposition. Okay? So come on the journey with me. Alright? So you've got an admit or you want to get an admit. So let's first look at the admission criteria. How do you get admitted into this program? I'm going to diverge a bit, as Art said, since I have been handling admissions across B schools, and I also kind of work very closely with global B schools like Wharton, which Aditya was talking about, Wharton, Kellogg, Harvard, London Business School. All these schools I kind of studied how this process works. Basically, if you look at admissions, there are 3 conditions. Okay, first is the academic quotient of the person. Same applies to IIM also. Academic quotient. The academic quotient as judged by class 10, class 12, undergrad score, test score, 4 things form the academic quotient. Think of it as 3 buckets. Around 40% of the marks here, around 30% here. What is this? This is the personality as seen by the interview. So 40% is 70. The remaining 30 is about your work experience, extracurriculars, etc. Now why I want to kind of deviate and talk a bit about this is, I have gone through a number of students and the top league of students applying to these schools. And I have a kind of a proposition which you wouldn't actually agree with me. You know what? A number of bright, brilliant students don't make it to top these schools just because they write their application badly. Can you believe this? You're spending so much time, so much energy understanding the entire process. You're spending so much time on CAT and GMAT and whatever, but you don't write a good application. Now, I don't have time to go through the complete process, but I'll tell you what I mean. One takeaway, one very serious takeaway which you keep in mind, any B school you apply to. From your point of view, you shift to my point of view. I am looking at your application. I've got a pile of applications out here. I've come in the morning 9 o'clock. I'm going on back at 5 o'clock. I have to look at all these applications. From this, I have to select who I will shortlist and take it to the next round. This is my position in the B school. So somebody who is doing the application evaluation. Correct? That's my situation. Now, where is the big mistake made by the students? The student application methodology of how you do it is, in your anxiety to crack the best schools, you put into your application everything that you have done, you cram in as much as you can, and your submission to the guy who is reading your application is, Champ, here is everything that I have done, choose from this what best and take me in. Does not work. See, look at it from my perspective. What is it that I am searching? Suppose you were to give me top 3 points which differentiate you from others. I am very happy. My job is easy. I know that you are a very bright kid. You've got these 3 things standing out. I will kind of shortlist you. My job is only to shortlist. I'll shortlist you. Whereas, if you give me 25 points, you take extracurricular activities. A very simple kind of a thing. Say you are let's say a national player in some game, or you are a Bharatanatyam dancer who has got some very strong accolades. Okay, now suppose you were to give me 10 extracurricular points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this is lying somewhere at the 5th point. For me, it's like there's no reference. It's just 1 of 10. Whereas if you just say that I am a state or a national player in this game, or I am this in music, that's enough for me to judge your character, your ability in that particular field. So you get it? So brevity is excellent while making great application. And there are 3 things which you look at in an application: your academics, your personality, and your what? Your experience and extracurricular and so on. Okay? You get into the program. Now once you get into the program, you spend 4 months in Dubai, 4 months in Singapore, 4 months in Sydney, 4 months in Singapore. Okay? This is the process. Why do we do all this here? Why is it that we kind of make it so difficult, life difficult for you, taking you across 3 campuses and teaching you across these campuses? Why do we do all that? Our credo is to ensure that you get sufficient global exposure into the best practices that's going on in the world that ensure that you get a good hit of getting a global job. So, in each of these campuses where you are going to be studying, you will be working very closely with the industry in that geography. If you are going to work study in Singapore, you will be doing projects. They are called global immersion projects. You will be doing projects in Singapore. You will be writing reports on those countries, on those companies, etc., etc. So by the time you are off Singapore, you know the way business works there. Okay, so you covered the East. Then you do Dubai, okay, where you understand the Middle Eastern way of working. You do Australia, which is a complete Western way of working. So at the end of 1 year, hopefully you have assimilated the complete idea of global working. The first difference that will hit you if you were to join SPJ School of Global Management is you get onto the first campus. Say Singapore happens to be your first campus. You get onto Singapore and you will find that the teaching, learning happens in a very different way from what you have been used to. See, we have been used to, even now, you guys are very used to a delivery mode of teaching. I mean, even though it's kind of changing, but it's not changing as fast as your Instagrams and your mails are changing, right? It's kind of still delivery mode. I am delivering your hearing. Globally, in terms of education right now, it's all about flipped classrooms. It's about the standard stuff you learn and come into the classroom. In the classroom, we discuss. In the classroom, we form groups. In the classroom, you're going to be discussing ideas as you would do in companies. That is the big change that's happening in business schools. And we are one of the first movers in that. You'll find that difference. Is that difference good? May or may not be for you. Because it is very nice and easy to study in a very secure environment. It is not so easy when you have to deliver all the time. You deliver, not listen. See, right now you are sitting and listening to me. But suppose I ask you to stand up and deliver for 15 minutes, that's a tension out there. So this is the first thing that will strike you. Okay? So what actually happens is by the time you pass 12 months and go into your internship, you can, at the flip of a hat, you can kind of deliver a 15-minute impromptu. So that's like what we want to kind of achieve. The profs who are going to be teaching you are all global. That are globally attuned, let's say. Not all global, in the sense there are many profs from India, but maybe 50% of the profs are from abroad. So there are profs from US, Singapore, there are people in Dubai, in Australia, and SPJ School of Global Management is an Australian day school which gives an MBA or an MBB. So it's an Australian day school and accredited very strongly. Because again, global guys are going to ask you, why should we hire your people? It's a TEQSA. You can Google that. TEQSA. TEXA approved. It's an Australian body which approves the program. TEXA approved. Highly ranked. 16 globally on Forbes. 4th globally on Times, the recent Times Wall Street Journal ranking. So its approval ratings are very high. Strongly accredited program. And so you do your first term. Let's say you do it in Singapore, finish your first term, go to Australia, do your second term in Australia, and then you do your third term, let's say in Dubai. When you get into the third term, right, two things will happen. One is, as soon as you hit the third term, your global companies and placements are happening simultaneously. Now, interestingly, the question you might ask is that if I am in Dubai, how will I get a job in Singapore? All interviews today are VC based. It's all video conference interviews. Very few, the face-to-face interviews are much less than VC based interviews. So it's a location independent program. That means you can be studying in any location, but you will be interacting with companies across locations. Okay? So global placements happen across in the third campus, and after 1 month in the third campus, that means by the time you have done 9 months, the India placements open up. Okay? The India placements open up, and then you can choose India placements versus global placements as it comes to your close of the program. The placements for the NGB is internship. When you get an internship, after you finish your internship, you can do a PPO and get a job in that company or choose other jobs in other markets. This is how the structuring of the program works. Okay, so you spend 12 months, 4 months, 4 months, 4 months, and then you have got an internship and you got on. Two more things before I conclude. Maybe three more things. How much time is there? 5 minutes left? 3 minutes left? How much time is left? Already time? Okay. Then just two things, or maybe one thing. Very quickly. When I was talking to students outside, there were inquiries. So one person came and said, listen, I want to get into marketing. It's extremely important that when you want to choose your domain in your management area, you please look at talking to people who have been there, done that, so that your scope improves. For example, let me just quickly tell you what happens if you take a marketing specialization. What are the options that open up to you? Okay? You take marketing as a specialization. You can get into consulting jobs. In consulting jobs, you can get into strategy consulting jobs, you can get into tech consulting jobs, you can get into niche consulting jobs. So 3 consulting areas are there. You can get into the B2B space, that is business to business. That means you are selling industrial products, etc., etc. You can get into B2C space, that is business to consumer products. You can get into e-commerce, all this Amazon and Google and this, that, and the other. You can get into the social marketing area. You can get into digital marketing. You can become an EA to a CEO. That's like another very, very coveted job in B schools. Okay? EA to a CEO. So, what I am trying to say is in each area, there is a structure of jobs which you can get, and you need to understand what they are before you jump into a decision on which stream to take. And what does it all cost? Yeah, the cost of the program is 22 lakhs. This is the INR converted cost of the entire program. Add to this about 17 lakhs for travel, stay, all the other paraphernalia which happens across global markets. And so that's your total cost of the program. And this is covered with loans and so on and scholarship, which we are very liberal with. Okay, you can talk to us if you have any questions.